Hello, PLP. We have a fairly quick lesson today. We're just going to talk about sum and difference of cubes and how to factor them. So obviously a sum of cubes looks like this, where you have two numbers added together and they're both perfect cubes, and a difference of cubes is where you're subtracting two perfect cubes. So there's just a formula that we could use for this, for factoring difference or sum of cubes. So here is how we factor a difference of cubes. You are going to take x minus y, that's your first factor, and then your second factor is going to be x squared plus x times y, plus y squared, x minus y times x squared plus xy plus y squared. And I always remember this as these two signs are opposite. So if we're doing a sum of squares, those two signs that I highlighted, they kind of flip. So sum of squares, I would start off with x plus y, and then x squared minus xy plus y squared. So again, those signs right here and here are opposites. So in order to do this, what you usually have to do first is take the cube root of these two numbers. That way you could actually find x and y, and then you plug x and y into those formulas. So let's try this. Number one, I have x cubed minus 64, so this is the difference of cubes formula, and both of these are perfect cubes. So what you're going to do is take the cube root of both of these first. So the cube root of the first one is x. I'm going to write that here. Cube root of this is 4. So now I'm going to plug those two numbers into that first formula. So I would have x minus 4 first. And then the second part of my formula is x squared plus x times y. Now keep in mind x is my x, 4 is my y, so I would have plus 4x plus y squared. And again, 4 is my y, so that's a plus 16. There you go. Okay, so let's do this next one. Take the cube root of both of these. The cube root of this one is going to be negative 3u. Cube root of this one should be 5. So that means x is negative 3u, and y in this case is going to be 5. So I'm going to take those and I'm going to plug it into the sum formula. So the second one. So first I would have negative 3u plus 5. Then I'm going to have x squared. So negative 3u squared would be 9u squared. Because negative 3 squared is 9. U squared is obviously u squared. Then minus xy. So negative 3u times 5 is negative 15u. But I'm subtracting it, so I'm going to put a plus 15u. So again, I'm going to say that one more time. When you multiply those together, you do get negative 15u. But if you look up at the formula, it's a minus negative 15u, so it's a positive. Plus y squared. Y is my 5, so that'll be a 25. And there you go. Now, number 3, there is something important that we have to do first, because if you're looking at this, 8x to the 4th is not a perfect cube, and neither is just an x. But there is a factor that I could factor out. I could factor an x out of everything. If I factor an x out, I get, whoops, forgot about my 8x cubed plus 1. And just like that, now I do have perfect squares. I'm just going to leave that x out in front, so that just gets stuck out front. It's along for the ride, but I can factor this now. So take the cube root of 8x cubed, which is 2x. Cube root of 1 is just 1. So I have x is 2x and I have y is 1. So I have 2x plus 1. And then x squared would be 4x squared minus xy, so that's a minus 2x plus y squared, which is just 1. And there's your final answer there. And last one, again, take the cube root. This one we have 2 variables, which is fine. Take the cube root. So I'm getting x for this one and 5b for this one. So that's my x and my y. So I'm using the sum formula now. So I'd have x plus 5b times x squared minus xy, so this is where I multiply them together. So I'm going to put 5xb plus y squared. 5b squared should be 25b squared. There you go. So you have a couple to practice. Pause your video. Make sure you do those independent practices. When you are ready, you can unpause, and here they are. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to one of us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.